This is the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather and Connie Chung.
Good evening. Bobby Ray Inman is a retired admiral with years of CIA and business experience, and he is President Clinton's choice for Secretary of Defense.
If, as widely expected, Inman is confirmed quickly by the Senate, he would return to the Pentagon, but this time as a civilian. Right from the start, Inman would have to deal with a range of front-burner issues: North Korea, Russia, Somalia, Haiti, and the Middle East. Then there's the downsizing of the U.S. military. Big problems with defense contractors, including big cuts in defense spending. For context and analysis, CBS News White House correspondent Rita Braver, who first broke the Inman story last night, begins our coverage.
President Clinton wasted no time in announcing his nominee for Secretary of Defense, retired four-star Admiral Bobby Ray Inman, a 31-year veteran who's also held senior intelligence posts and is widely respected by the military.
We must ensure that our men and women in uniform remain the best trained, the best equipped, the best prepared fighting force on earth. I am confident that Admiral Inman is the right leader to meet these demanding challenges.
Despite the fact that Inman didn't vote for Bill Clinton.
I voted for President Bush, even though I was mad at him about his handling of the economy, but because I considered him a personal friend. The president did know that when he asked me to take this job.
While departing Secretary Les Aspin was called a weak manager, Inman is considered a strong one. He was director of the National Security Agency, deputy director of the CIA, has run computer and defense contracting firms. He's likely to be quite independent. Today he seemed to indicate that he had auditioned President Clinton.
I had to reach a level of comfort that we could work together, that I would be very comfortable in your role as the Commander-in-Chief.
Inman gets high marks from Congress, but it's unclear whether he alone will be able to shore up the president's foreign policy team. Both Secretary of State Warren Christopher and National Security Advisor Anthony Lake have been criticized for not being forceful enough. White House officials denied that any other changes are planned, but Senate Armed Services Committee Chairman Sam Nunn raised eyebrows when he mentioned his recent talks with the president.
He brought up to me the overall foreign policy team, and we did have some candid discussions, not simply about the defense post, but the broad array of challenges, and I responded to his questions.
Senator Nunn did not elaborate, and for the second day in a row, President Clinton refused to answer reporters' questions about his foreign policy team. But White House staffers are hoping that Admiral Inman will get things running ship-shape. Rita Braver, CBS News at the White House.
Just what is the 62-year-old Bob Inman up against at the Pentagon and at the White House? What does Inman bring to the job? CBS News national security correspondent David Martin is tracking that part of the story.
Bob Inman's day began over breakfast with Vernon Jordan, a charter member of President Clinton's kitchen cabinet. Jordan probably couldn't tell him much he doesn't already know about the Pentagon. But what Inman really needs to know, what Les Aspin never figured out, is how the Clinton White House works.
The real question will be what kind of relationship he's able to work with the president. If you were to look at Les's problems, I think probably that White House relationship was the one that created the greatest difficulties for him.
If Inman runs true to form, his relationship with the president will include straight talk and unpopular advice. At least that's how one of his former bosses remembers him.
Straightforward and quite willing to express his own views, even when they conflicted with my own.
Inman's reputation precedes him, and so do a lot of problems. North Korea, where the world's last Stalinist dictatorship is suspected of building a nuclear bomb. Russia, where recent parliamentary elections seem to turn the clock back toward the bad old days. Somalia, where American troops are hunkered down waiting to come home. And perhaps the biggest headache of all, a budget heading south.
The Pentagon is going through a severe downsizing, the worst since the aftermath of World War II, and that takes a terrible toll on morale.
Inman will have to make the money go further than it ever has before.
The public is less concerned about what we're doing overseas or our commitments than whether we are getting a dollar value for a dollar spent.
The Democrats spent the 12 years they were out of power complaining the Republicans were giving the military free run of the Pentagon. Now the Democrats are turning over the Pentagon to a retired military officer who may tell them some things they don't want to hear. David Martin, CBS News, the Pentagon.
One issue they and the rest of the country have been hearing and arguing about a lot is the issue of gays and lesbians in the U.S. military. And once again, it's a hot-button issue for the new Pentagon chief and for the courts because of the oath that Keith Meinhold took today. Correspondent Richard Roth has our report about that.
That I will obey the orders of the President of the United States.
Protected by a federal court order that has so far barred the Navy from discharging him for homosexuality, Keith Meinhold re-enlisted today.
Oh, a little indecision here.
He's the only man in the military officially allowed to admit he's gay and still serve.
This re-enlistment is a milestone for me and even a milestone for the Department of Defense.
But the course he's on, challenging the military's ban on homosexuals, is still full of legal roadblocks.
Even though he's declared that he's a homosexual, he should remain.
Today, in a rare experiment, television was allowed in a federal appeals court, where the government was defending the Navy's attempt to discharge Meinhold. The Pentagon's lawyer was questioned by one judge who said he's hearing arguments against homosexuals that sound like those made against African Americans before the military was desegregated.
I hear some of the same assertions being made now when we talk about this cohesiveness of the group, discipline, morale, and that sort of thing. Now,
I think the situations are entirely different, and I'll point out that when the military was desegregated, it was the president that did that. It wasn't a court imposing that upon the military.
But Meinhold's lawyer said it is the court's business, arguing the sailor's being punished just for who he is, not for anything he's done.
He wants to be judged based upon how good a sailor he is.
This issue is sure to go to the Supreme Court, but some of the principles being argued now also apply to the military's new policy that goes into effect next year. And now the chances that don't ask, don't tell will survive a legal challenge may also become don't count on it. Richard Roth, CBS News, San Francisco.
When it comes to marriage in the military, the U.S. Marine Corps is apparently sticking with its old policy. Last summer, the Marine Corps Commandant approved a controversial plan to begin a singles-only enlistment policy after 1995 because of the strain of military life on marriages. The Clinton White House immediately put that plan on the shelf and under review. Turns out the new study, to be officially released next week, concludes that married Marines are just fine.
Straight ahead on tonight's CBS Evening News, the battle over a fetus and a woman's medical rights.
And later, Michael Jackson, his latest appearance and what it means.
Here's a great big idea. From Presto, professional salad shooter slicer shredder. Big capacity and power. Special blades to point and slice thick, slice thin, shred, even ripple cut. Right where you want.
Salad shooter.
From Presto. The new Norelco razor hugs every contour, every curve, for a shave closer than ever before. Its improved lift and cut system means a perfect shave and the perfect gift. Norelco, our closest shave ever.
Now we're filling these fruit and nut cereals with more of your favorite fruits and nuts. 25% more. Filling more clusters of crunchy nuts into clusters. More nut-covered raisins into Raisin Nut Bran. More fruits and nuts into Basic 4. More crunchy almonds or real apples into these oatmeal crisp cereals. Now these favorites are filled with more fruits and nuts. 25% more. Look for these specially marked boxes.
The Illinois Supreme Court today refused to order a pregnant woman to undergo surgery to save her endangered fetus. The case is a battle between advocates of the mother's rights and those who contend that an unborn child has a legal right to life. Correspondent Bob Fall reports.
Attorneys for 22-year-old Mother Doe had argued that her right to control her body is greater than and should prevail over the rights of the 37-week-old male fetus that she's carrying. And today, when Illinois' highest court upheld a lower court decision, which in effect said the woman's rights do come first, Mother Doe's attorneys said they were gratified.
That the courts of this state do not look very favorably on attempts by the state to intrude itself into personal medical decisions.
An attorney representing the fetus had told the Illinois Appellate Court that the fetus would die or be severely damaged without a cesarean delivery, which the mother, a born-again Pentecostal Christian, objects to for religious reasons. Today's decision, said the attorney, means the Illinois High Court thinks the right to practice religion takes precedence over the rights of a fetus.
The court's told us that a fetus has no rights, and essentially the way the law is right now, the mother can do almost anything she wants to.
Medical ethicists contend it is wrong to see this case in terms of mother versus fetus.
It's not a question of the fetus not being a person, not having rights. It's a question of our general social consensus that the rights of one person don't typically make it okay to cut into the body of another.
Mother Doe has told her attorney she is confident her baby will be born healthy. But a skeptical attorney for the fetus says he'll now go before the U.S. Supreme Court if it's not too late. Bob Fall, CBS News, New York.
There's word tonight of one of the largest sex discrimination settlements in U.S. history between the Lucky grocery store chain in California and thousands of female employees. A judge ruled that Lucky discriminated against the women in assignments and promotions. This settlement could cost the company as much as $107 million.
There are new indications tonight of Michael Jackson's state of mind as he prepares to fight accusations he molested a 13-year-old boy. A recent videotape of the pop star was released today. Correspondent Sandra Hughes has the story and the tape.
Mr. Jackson, what is your occupation?
Entertainer, dancer.
This is the first glimpse of Michael Jackson since he dropped out of sight last month. During this videotape deposition for a copyright case taken just days before he admitted an addiction to painkillers, Jackson appears sluggish, unfocused.
Recall that question?
Yes.
You recall what your answer was?
Well, what's the answer?
I'm asking you the question.
The case is unrelated to the ongoing criminal investigation and civil lawsuit surrounding the accusations of sexual abuse. However, it does give an indication to Jackson's state of mind during the past 2 months. At one point, Jackson's attorney asked how he came to write "We Are the World." He answers, Quincy Jones requested it.
He said, but it would be very important for the children. As soon as he said that, he knew how I feel about children.
With his return to California last week, Jackson's whereabouts are no longer a mystery. But that hasn't quelled the public's insatiable interest in the pop singer. Almost every day there's a new revelation about him. Recent attention is on a former maid who says she saw the singer nude with young boys, in part supporting accusations by the 13-year-old boy of sexual abuse. Until tomorrow, the court has imposed a gag order which prohibits those involved from talking about the sexual abuse case. So for now, this is all the public will hear from Michael Jackson. Sandra Hughes, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Stay here with us for much more of the CBS Evening News, including the latest on the Packwood Diaries, what's in them and who gets to see them.
Ford announces the news truck buyers have been waiting for. The best lease ever on Ford F-Series pickups. Now you can lease America's #1 pickup, Ford F-Series, for $229 per month for 24 months, but only for a limited time. These trucks are loaded with features including driver's side airbag, V8 engine, automatic transmission, air conditioning, and the XLT package. Get the best of terms on the best-selling trucks in America. Drive home this loaded F-Series XLT for $229 per month. See your Ford dealer now.
How fast does Anbesol start to relieve toothache pain? Before you can say
Anbesol.
denture pain? Before you can say
Anbesol.
relieve minor mouth pain on contact with Anbesol in regular or maximum strength.
Mothers have learned from countless doctors and pharmacists to take care of coughs with Robitussin. And they've taken this advice home. Robitussin, recommended by Dr. Mom. Ask your doctor or pharmacist.
Hey, Remington, shave this. If you can grow it, we can shave it. Remington introduces the Triple Foil, the only shaver with 3 narrow microscreens to cross-cut each whisker 3 times. For hard-to-shave places on hard-to-shave bases. The Remington Triple Foil.
If you can grow it, we can shave it.
And ladies, for a silky smooth shave in or out of the shower, the Lady Remington Wet Dry.
We'll be live with Mark McEwen from Hampton Court in London, plus the star of the Pelican Brief, Julia Roberts.
Tomorrow on CBS This Morning, Breakfast for Your Head.
Russian President Boris Yeltsin fired 2 top aides today. A spokesman said the changes were prompted by right-wing election gains, but Yeltsin will stick to his program of democratic reforms. Vice President Gore was busy again demonstrating U.S. support for Yeltsin. He and the Russian Prime Minister signed agreements on joint ventures in business and space exploration.
In this country, Senator Bob Packwood's personal diaries are in federal court custody tonight. A judge ordered them seized for safekeeping after hearing sworn testimony that Senator Packwood has been doctoring those diaries. The Oregon Republican has been fighting a subpoena to turn them over to Senate investigators. Chief Washington correspondent Bob Schieffer has the latest.
When Packwood let photographers into his Senate office today, he was taking a lesson on a word processor.
Hit F5.
I've done that.
Senator, do you have any intention of resigning?
He wasn't talking about his troubles, but he suffered a major legal setback when federal judge Thomas Penfield Jackson confiscated his controversial diaries and had them delivered to the federal courthouse, where they'll be kept under lock and key until Jackson decides whether the Senate Ethics Committee has a right to see them. At a hearing in Jackson's court today, Senate counsel Michael Davidson said Packwood could no longer be trusted with the diaries, since his former secretary, Kathy Wagner Cormack, now claims Packwood began to alter them once he knew he was under investigation. Adding new details, Cormack said in a sworn statement released today, it was not just tapes, but sometimes written pages in the diary that Packwood altered. She said sometimes he would mark up a piece of paper and I would redo it. And on a few occasions, he would dictate on a separate tape a few changes and give me the pages. Packwood's lawyer, Jacob Stein, argued surrendering the diaries to the Ethics Committee was an invasion of privacy, and he won a small victory when the judge agreed to delay his ruling on that until Stein can file new arguments. For Stein, that was enough for now.
How do you think it went today? Just generally?
Seemed to go all right. So it may be early next year before Packwood knows if he'll have to let the Ethics Committee comb through his diaries for evidence. But he seems to hold no grudge against the woman who says he altered them. In her sworn statement, she says Packwood called her this week, said he'd seen her on TV, and thought she looked great. Bob Schieffer, CBS News at the Capitol.
The Princess of Wales greeted some of her adoring fans today for what she says will be the last time, at least for a while, the estranged wife of Prince Charles made her grand exit after a meeting with a London charity group. 2 weeks ago, she announced that she was giving up her public duties to spend more time with her children.
Still to come on tonight's CBS Evening News, the rare case of a doctor, 4 female patients, and the virus that causes AIDS.
Here's a whole other kind of chip. Chip Shot. Presto Chip Shot Potato Chipper. Slices so thin they gotta be crisp. Regular or ripple. Chip Shot. Fry them up. Even microwave for a light, no-fat chip. Flavor them the way you like. Chip Shot. From Presto.
Jane Powell for Polident.
I have a fresh solution for denture odor. Minty Double Action Polident. Each double action tablet controls denture odor and cleans even tough stains. Minty Double Action Polident, the fresh solution for denture odor.
Panasonic presents a unique and highly evolved Smooth Operator. The new Smooth Operator 2 with float control is the only razor to unite the comfort of twin independent floating heads with the closeness of a warm, wet shave. Don't try this with any plugged-in razor. The new Smooth Operator wet dry razors from Panasonic, smoother than you ever thought you'd be.
2 a.m., 36 Pine Street. Apartment 4C has a backache and can't sleep. 3C overdid her afternoon workout and is paying the price. 2C had an aching back, but fortunately she also has Tylenol PM gel caps with extra strength Tylenol pain reliever, plus a gentle ingredient to help her sleep. And a good night's sleep was all she needed to make her day a whole lot brighter. Tylenol PM, so you can rest easy.
Just an ordinary package? The FBI wants you to help catch a mail bomber.
What frightens you most about this case?
Eye to Eye tonight.
A small town in Kentucky is in shock tonight following the deaths of 7 high school boys in a single car crash. The teenagers were on their way to after-school jobs last night when their automobile smashed head-on into another vehicle. Police said there was no sign of drunken driving or speeding, but none of the boys was wearing a seatbelt.
Several new and mysterious cases of AIDS infection are coming to light tonight. These latest ones involve 4 women in Australia. They were not considered at high risk, but they all had surgery at the same doctor's office. CBS News health correspondent Dr. Bob Arnott has the story and the latest reassurance that AIDS is not transmitted by casual contact.
Doctors in Australia reported the first documented case of the AIDS virus being passed from patient to patient in a doctor's office. In this unusual case, 4 women with no known risk factors contracted the AIDS virus. All 4 had visited the same doctor on the same day in November 1989 to have moles or cysts removed. Doctors suspect that the infection came from a 5th patient, a homosexual man who also had a cyst removed that same day. The man has since died of AIDS.
It is a most significant and saddening incident, one that has taken us all aback.
The surgeon suspects the scalpel was at fault. It was boiled after each patient's procedure, but not autoclaved, a technique known to kill the AIDS virus. However, public health officials suspect that the infection was spread from patient to patient because the surgeon used the same bottle of local anesthetic on all 5 patients. Today's New England Journal of Medicine reports another uncommon case of AIDS infection. A 5-year-old with AIDS infected a 2-year-old, perhaps by sharing a toothbrush. CDC doctors also believe that blood from the 5-year-old could have infected the 2-year-old through a skin rash. Health officials agree the chance of this occurring again is very rare.
Can I guarantee everybody in the United States, even every child in daycare center, no risk? No, nobody can do that. But can I say that I think the risk is negligible? Yes.
Although today's cases are indeed rare, they point out the need for strict sterile precautions in any setting where people are at risk for AIDS, not just in hospitals, but in doctors' offices and even in the home. Dr. Bob Arnott, CBS News, New York.
The National Transportation Safety Board is investigating the cause of a private plane crash yesterday near Los Angeles. All 5 people aboard the plane were killed. Witnesses said the West Wind twin-engine jet caught fire and went into a spiral as it tried to land at John Wayne Airport in Orange County. Wreckage was scattered over a wide area, but no one on the ground was injured.
The board of directors of United Airlines is considering a friendly takeover by its employees. The $5 billion deal includes 6 years' worth of union concessions. If the board approves, United will become the largest employee-owned company in America. And American Airlines lost a round in court today in a class action suit that could be worth hundreds of millions of dollars. The Illinois Supreme Court said American can be sued for damages for changing the rules of its frequent flyer program.
Outside of this box, life has changed in the last 70 years. We've had 14 presidents, introduced television, seen the birth of rock and roll, put a man on the moon, and entered the computer age. But inside this box of Russell Stover candies, very little has changed. We're still using our time-honored recipes, which demand only the finest ingredients. That's why we can guarantee freshness and home-fashioned goodness in every piece. Nobody does chocolate like Russell Stover does chocolate.
So you think driving an Oldsmobile 88 is like sitting in your living room? Well, we've got a photo of your living room here. Love the couch. Now take a look at the 88 LSS. Cooler seats, much better sound system. Plus it handles better than your living room. Not to mention many cars. So if you're gonna sit down, at least do it someplace good. It's your money.
Norelco says don't shave your legs, baby them. With Norelco's incredibly close, comfortable shave that leaves you baby smooth, baby soft. Norelco Lady Shave Razors, dry or wet, we make close comfortable.
Day after day, you make those glasses of thick Metamucil disappear. Why not make them all disappear with Fibercon? Doctor-recommended Fibercon gives you the same fiber regularity in tablets.
Easy-to-swallow tablets.
Get doctor-recommended Fibercon.
If you suffer from sinus pain and pressure, take Dristan Sinus. It contains ibuprofen with 40 million prescriptions, but combined in non-prescription strength with a decongestant doctors recommend most. Both are available in Dristan Sinus. It'll relieve pressure and ease sinus pain, all without drowsiness. Dristan Sinus, with 2 doctor-recommended medicines. And there is a full line of Dristan products that's right for you. Dristan.
'Tis the week before Christmas, when all through the store shoppers are rushing for just 8 days more. The owners are watching. Let the buyer beware. In hopes higher profits soon will be there. On you they are counting, every gentleman and lady, counting up what you spend, says correspondent Ray Brady.
Watch the lady in red. Alan Milstein's watching her because it's his job to analyze retail sales.
Do you plan to spend more or less on the Christmas gifts this year?
He posts himself outside major stores, clicking away on who's buying and who's not.
You're spending more or less than last year on them?
More.
That's terrific.
Probably less.
You're going to spend less.
Americans have been doing their Christmas shopping later and later every year, so stores have their fingers crossed. Indeed, many stores count on Christmas for half their whole year's profits. One thing they already know, among shoppers at Christmas 1993, the accent's on the practical.
Consumers are buying what they need. And if you need a new dishwasher, then you're going to forego the diamond necklace.
So if it's for the home, it's a hit. Plates, glasses, you name it.
With the economy being so down nowadays, I think people would appreciate something that they can use at home.
But what's Christmas without kids? Even in recession-racked California, toys are tops. Electric trains, Barbie, Batman. These little faces, you have to treat them to anything they want. But what's Alan Milstein's clicker saying about sales?
It's touch and go, and I think that half the people leaving the store today had shopping bags.
That could change, so count the shopping bags over the next 8 days. If well over half the people leaving a store carry one, they're spending. And that will mean a merry, merry Christmas. Ray Brady, CBS News, New York.
And that's our news. Coming up on Eye to Eye, we'll take a closer look at those cell telephones. Are they safe or not? And the search for a serial bomber. We'll tell you how you can help. Eye to Eye, tonight at 9, 8 Central Time. See you then.
And Connie, now we'll see you again tomorrow here on the CBS Evening News. Thank you for choosing CBS News. Good night.
Good night.
Experience CBS News.
Here's a new idea. Getting these children to turn in their toy guns in exchange for other toys. A kind of amnesty for kids.
It's no longer cool to play with toy guns.
This inner-city school thinks a toy gun exchange might be a very good lesson. Will it work? Find out tomorrow on the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather and Connie Chung.
Rather, Chung.
But you're confident you can govern.
Do you think Yasser Arafat is prepared to deal with the Hamas?
You are about to see pictures that have never been seen before in history.
Oh, there you have it. The handshake.
Dan Rather, Connie Chung, the CBS Evening News, team to cover your world.
This is